You did not see it live.
No, I did not.
I did a podcast live with Meringue.
I had my phone going live while I was in the press box at the Hops to see what was going on.
Yeah, and I know you were working, but I felt like you had text not long after it was
I did.
revealed.
I pulled it up. We were in between pregame stuff, so I peeked down to see, and yeah, we were all laughing.
I should have. This is my mistake. I should have pulled this. Do we have the cut? Is there a cut in the system?
No, there's no. They only cut the top 4.
Okay. Well, it was.
I looked for it, and no, it was not there.
We're not even worthy of a cut.
No.
Why are you laughing so much about this?
I love Scoot's answer, too. Anything lucky you bring, Scoot? Just praying, man. So are we, Scoot.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
So I was doing a pod, so I was watching muted. Yeah. I saw him talking. I had no idea what he said.
Because they go to like everybody on the stage of like, did you do anything? Bring a rabbit's foot, Scoot. What'd you do? And he literally had a floor. Just praying, man. Just praying.
Jean jacket with a tie was an interesting choice.
It was a bold move.
I couldn't pull that off.
It's like chilly in the summer. All right.
They did it differently, too. They had all the prospects there. So, like, Reed Shepherd was being
interviewed.
Well,
they were in normally they do it in that studio in New Jersey, Secaucus, but they were in Chicago because they're getting ready for the Combine.
Yeah.
So, a little smarter move on the NBA's part there.
That's what I wonder if they're going to switch it to that, to make this, they want to do this event.
I would think so. I think they're trying to make the NBA Combine more of a, like NFL. The NFL does, more of a fan-friendly event.
I know you missed it. Reed Shepherd was next to Castle, his teammate Dillingham Klingen. He was as big as the interviewer. And he looks as skinny as me. And I just thought, that guy is going to be a dominant player in the NBA.
That guy's going to be a Portland Trailblazer in a couple of weeks.
We're sure. The guy that looks like my size is going to be a dominant player in the NBA.
I started laughing out loud because I pulled up right when the order came out, the first mock that I read. I'm like scrolling.
You hold it.
And then I just...
I will get to that. So the Blazers had 2 picks in the lottery. The Warriors, all the math said they were going to get 14. Boom. First envelope, Blazers, 14.
Boom.
There we go. Everything mathed correctly. Everything. Up until 8. And then it didn't math anymore when the Blazers fell to 7. Us falling to 7 changed everything.
Everything.
And Atlanta got all the way to number 1. And so the Blazers, who won 21 games, finished with picks 7 and 14 in the NBA draft lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, it was already a failure of a season because we didn't learn much at all about some of the young guys, and I'm not one of those who runs with the final few weeks of the regular season playing depleted NBA rosters and say, see, this is what Scoot is going to be. You didn't learn much about the pairing between him and Shaedon. Anthony Simons, this was supposed to be year 1 of him being a solo guy, was hurt. It was a failure of a year.
I would say you learned literally nothing about him and Shaedon.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
So it was already a failure.
Playing together, that is.
That is. Yeah. The only silver lining you had in that failure was this. This was it. This is our season. This is when things matter now for us.
Okay.
Is where your ping pong balls fall and what draft pick you end up getting. And to have the 3rd worst season in the history of the franchise end up with the 7th overall pick in the NBA draft, it just kind of sums up everything and the direction things are going. Well, and look, this is lottery balls. This is out of their control. They could have won a fewer games, too. Could have helped their chances, but I digress. Let's play veterans early in the season and push for the playoffs because that's what the coach wanted to do. Said we're going to be a play-in team.
The coach for now.
It was already a failure of a season, and it just got even worse yesterday because now in one of the worst drafts we've seen in a long time, you were picking 7th, and... good luck to you.
Yeah.
Can I positive patty it?
You can try.
Go for it, buddy.
I actually been working on this since yesterday because I knew what his reaction was going to be.
Pull a hamstring.
Yeah,
let's see what you got.
Actually,
things are great. Come on, man. Quit being so negative. They won 21 games and ended up with the 7th pick.
I was looking at the big boards and the mock drafts, and my prediction might come correct.
Okay, well, we'll get to the mocks and what they're saying early as we are now mock season.
The number 14 is even funnier than 7-8 range.
Just take Bronny and sign LeBron for 2 years, dude. I'm done. I'm over this crap.
I don't think he wants to live in Portland.
Well, Bronny got cleared medically, so his heart's okay.
Here's the positive patty, okay? You ready?
I'm ready.
You said what about this draft?
One of the worst draft class we've ever seen.
Not a highly respected one.
No.
What? Now, I've been on this, so this is not some new take, okay? This is not part of the positive Patty part. You watch. This combine's going to happen, and the mock drafts are going to keep getting released, and the beat writers that are covering these garbage-ass teams are all going to start getting intel. You watch. You guys both watch this. In the next couple weeks, we're about a month away from the draft. You watch. The spin on this draft is it's starting. It's starting to spin.
A lot deeper than we thought.
Guards, wings, forwards, and centers. Now, is there a true one? Is there a Wemby, a Zion? No. That narrative won't change. But I believe, my hunch is, you will, as teams work these guys out, they start trying to incentivize teams to trade up, or they want to trade out, they will start being very complimentary publicly. This guy, a lot more impressive. The measurements, man, this guy's a little taller. Oh, this guy weighs a little more.
Sure.
I've been hearing how bad this draft is for a year. And my immediate reaction a year ago to Danny was, no way. The NBA and basketball is too big internationally for me to really buy that a draft is truly as bad as some people were making this out to be. And I think in the next month, you're going to start to see a little bit of the spin zone the other way, where teams and GMs and execs and mock drafters all start talking themselves into these guys. Now, that being said, the positive Patty spin for your Blazers on a Monday, 7 was not ideal. I laughed out loud on the podcast. I just chuckled. I said, of course we don't get nice things. The positive part would be you sit at 7 in a not quote-unquote deep draft, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what teams are going to reach and what players are going to fall? I think the benefit of not having a clear-cut hierarchy for now of this draft is that maybe Alex Sarr is the most consensus one you'll find, okay? After that, who is it? Is it Klingon? Is it Castle?
I mean, half the guys
Who's
are
this
European
French
guys I've
kid
never heard
that's
of
up
before.
there in the top 3?
Is it the French kid in the top 3?
Is it some kid named Tropic or Topic? Who the hell
Topic.
is that? Topic?
Yeah, it's Croatian, I believe.
Is it Topic or Topic? Because all the videos I've seen are Topic.
I think it's
or
Topic.
Excuse me.
Is it Topic? Topic.
Anyways, Topic,
Sums
Topic.
it all up. I can't wait
There
for
you go.
that.
But my point is, who is going to reach
Sure.
and who is going to fall? I don't know where everybody sits. I know where you sit with the organization at large, but I would just ask you this. Where do you sit on Mike Schmitz and Joe Cronin scout talent evaluators? If you are in the I don't know or I trust it, then they actually might reap the benefits of some stupidity would be my positive Patty spin here with them. And they're just as bummed at 7 as you are.
Mm-hmm.
But they also might be able to say, well, Reed Shepherd is 6 foot, white, and 145 pounds. Somebody's going to take him in the top 4 for some reason. And somebody's going to fall to them.
Or we take him 7th overall because all we do is draft guards.
He might be a great player. I don't know.
It's exactly what we need. Another 6'3" guard. He's a good shooter, though.
Dirt, I just don't think in a draft that's highly regarded and has clear up top 4 talent, you can debate it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Richelet? Is it Sarr? Is it Dillingham? I don't know. Nobody does. You can make an argument that this gets a little weird and teams reach for guys who shouldn't be taken as high as they will, and teams like Portland might end up getting a guy that's either 1 or 2 on their mock draft anyway.
Sure. I look, just because you got the 7th overall pick does not mean that you can't land a difference-making player. There have been very good players drafted 7th overall. Jamal Murray was the 7th overall pick. Steph Curry was a 7th overall pick.
I'm going to get into that list because I actually have a problem with that.
Okay, but sure, no matter where you're drafting, the case Cerrito was a 2nd-round pick and he just won his 3rd MVP. Of course you can find talent anywhere.
Yeah.
To the idea of do you trust Cronin and Schmitz and their evaluation of talent, anybody who says yes, unequivocally yes, what are we going off of? Somebody immediately commented on YouTube, Shaedon Sharpe was a 7th overall pick. That's great.
Yeah.
What is Shaedon Sharpe going to be in the NBA?
I don't know yet.
We have no clue. He hasn't stayed healthy in his first 2 years. He's shown flashes, incredibly inconsistent.
I think to answer your question, people are going off of how these players that they've brought in, the young guys, not some of the vets, how they make them feel.
Okay.
More so than numbers.
Sure. I would love to see Scoot and Shaden turn into the next great dominant NBA backcourt, because that means I get to talk about an entertaining and fun to watch team instead of a team that's going to be mired in a tank for the next 15 years. But this idea that we just trust them and, oh my God, these guys are unbelievable evaluators of talent in the draft. Like, all right.
Have they had enough time for you to
No,
doubt
they haven't.
it?
They haven't had enough time for me to say they're terrible at it,
Yeah.
nor have they had enough time for you to say, see, they're hitting home runs every year, because Shaden Sharp had 4 games this season that he looked like baby Kobe. We all run to this optimistic take of like, everything's going to be fine. Look at these games. It's going to turn into X, Y, and Z. That's not always the case. And so I like to provide the counterbalance to some of that, because you cannot trust them after 2 drafts. It's not enough time to doubt them completely. But the idea that you wouldn't want a higher draft pick, like, you won 21 games this year, and with a top 4 pick, you have a much better guarantee of getting the guy that is the number 1 player on your board. To your point, this could be one of those years where everybody's board is drastically different, and the number 13 team might have a guy on their board that's number 1 that doesn't go in the top 12 picks, and you end up getting him at 13, but you always want a higher pick just in case there's somebody on your board that you desperately want, and another team feels the exact same way about them.
Well, it's mock season. Our Blazers have the 7th and 14th pick. The first mock at ESPN was released immediately after the mock draft, or after the pre-draft lottery, and so we've got our first mock out. It is an interesting one because I really admire the guy who writes for ESPN on the draft coverage. I'm trying to get him on the show, and he threw out a wild one, and I want to see where everybody's at on this one. So we'll talk about that. And you mentioned it very briefly, the history of the 7th pick. I want to run down that and how the history of it, actually involving a current team in the playoffs, might be your guide for what we could see coming down the road in about a month or so.